we were discussing the right 10 with in a group, and I said it's a really cool thing because you have a time frame, right? You have 10
Mm-hmm.
minutes and you're given one word. And so the challenge is on. It really forces you to get creative now rather than getting lazy with it and letting it go, right? And then, okay, never mind. I wasn't able to do anything. But it's like 10 minutes and you sort of gamify it and people put their stuff up on, on Twitter.
Yeah. And we've
And it's really
started
cool.
doing it's funny you said embarrassment as well, because we started doing a monthly joke writing contest where people get a random emotional theme, and then they get 7 days to create a new 90-second set based on that
Nice.
emotional theme. So, and then there's 3 judges that will judge, and then we have a finale that live streams into this group and all that. So that's
That's
like
awesome.
another constriction that's more like emotion driven, which is where a lot of the best material comes from.
Right.
Awesome. Well, let's yeah, that was very helpful for me, and also the checklist. That's so funny. Because there is a tab in the Facebook group that says like it's like writing resources, and I think that checklist is number 1. So we'll go and tag you in it. We'll go.
That's very funny. So yeah, I mean, if you think about it, and in a general joke, one word's a little different than say a sentence or a fact, right? Because a fact usually puts it into a premise. So if I have a fact or a statement about me, I have 5 kids, then I can go through that. My checklist, my first checklist would be, there's 3 questions I ask. The line would be, is there an assumption, expectation, or image that I can shatter? That'd be number 1. Number 2 would be, are there 2 dissimilar ideas converging? Right. So I have 5 kids. Not really. So, but there is an assumption there. I have 5 kids. There's an expectation. So I have 5 kids, and there is possible incongruity if I force it. If I add one later, like I have 5 kids because I'm only half Mormon, then you have something like that, right? So then you can go on from there. I have 5 kids from 3 different moms. And they go, whoop, there's the judgment right there. Did you hear that? Right? You could feel that. And then you comment on that, right? So the question number 1 is there an expectation, an image, or an assumption that I can shatter? Is there a double entendre play here? Meaning, is there a second meaning of the word or an alternate comedic meaning of the word that I can play with? Or are there 2 dissimilar ideas converging? So once I go through those that say I wasn't able to come up with anything, I'll say, could I come up with a cliche related to this phrase, this word, that I can reform? So if I looked up, I can just quickly look up cliches. Now I have like 3 cliches, and I can try to reform those cliches. A cliche reformation is when you basically are stating a cliche and everybody knows the ending, and you change the ending because they're already thinking. It's almost like Dice Man with limericks, right? Everybody knew the ending; they were already saying the ending, right? So you create that expectation. The brain already creates that ending. You flip that ending. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Whatever happens in Vegas, So if you give it context, whatever happens, and my sister just had a baby because whatever happens in Vegas evidently comes out of your vagina. So that was written in a class by one of my students, Pauline Yasuda. And that joke still gets big laughs,
That's great.
So, but these concepts you can apply. Then you could do an analogy you can drop in. Then you look for a paradox. So these are things that people laugh at that don't have punchlines. Paradoxical humor, because it causes the brain to do a little dance.
That's a funny way to say it. Brain a little dance.
Well, you have to, right? When you do paradox, it causes you to. Because a paradox is when you take something that sounds like it shouldn't be true, but you find out that it can be true. Or when you have 2 things that can be true but not true at the exact same time, like the word prick, right? So prick and prick, like George Carlin's joke. You realize on TV you can say you pricked your finger, but you can't say you fingered your prick. So by definition, prick and prick, those are 2 things that can be true but not true at the exact same time. And when you run them so close together, it's pretty much the exact same moment, in the scheme of things when you're performing it. And people do that little dance. Oh shit, you're right. I never thought about it that way. So that's the dance, right? They recognize it and go, how come I never? It's right there in front of my face.
Hot breath.